Another method utilised for identifying or at least giving some assessment of risk is the CDS, the credit default swap rates. This is a credit default swap rates.
Yeah.
Now, another method that has been mooted as being useful for assessing the Another tool used for assessing the risk of a counterparty is the CDS rate, credit default swap rate. Now, this is the rate at which banks insure each other's debt effectively. This is not an insurance contract because you don't actually have to own the debt that you're protecting against. And there's been talk that the higher the CDS, the higher the potential likelihood of default by that bank, and therefore the higher the risk. CDS should not and cannot be relied upon as a primary indicator of the counterparty risk, partly because it is an indicator of the potential for any credit event rather than the complete collapse of that institution. But also, I think we can look at some history. When Lehman's went bust, their CDS level was 600. Now, currently, your major banks are around the 1 to 200 level. But during the financial crisis, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, they got up to 900 or 1500. AIG got up to over 3,000. Of course, these other institutions are still in business. So the fact that a CDS level might rocket could give you an indication of a credit event, but that could be too late at this point because you're already in the contract. So I don't really like to rely too heavily on the CDS level, albeit it can be used as an indicator. Ultimately, we're looking at the potential that the bank cannot meet their obligations, bankruptcy to all intents and purposes. And the credit rating agencies are looking at long-term issues, whereas the CDS is a very short-term measure.